everybody! Welcome in! Hello, everybody! Welcome in and happy... What is today? Tuesday! It is a Tuesday! Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Good to see you all. Hello, hello. Also, Lyra, no you! Thank you for the hydrate. Hey, hey! Hey, hey! Oh, Black Reaper Ronin. Welcome in. First time chatting. Welcome in. Good to see you. Darn. I hit the no you. I pulled out the I don't know what I pulled out. What's the Yu-Gi-Oh card that everyone always talks about? Blue Eyes White Dragon or something? I don't know. I'm not into Yu-Gi-Oh! Yet. The reverse card of Uno. Got it. Finished season 1 of the Ace Attorney anime and my heart was aching throughout that turnabout. Oh, I don't blame you. I do not blame you. The anime makes the cases so, like, it feels like you're playing the game again, even when you're not. Hey, Maddie, welcome in. Good to see you. Just started my new job this week. Hey, congratulations, Mobius. Hope that's going well for ya. I hope that's going well for ya. New job. Always difficult at first, but I'm glad that you got it, and I hope that things are going well for you there. Oh boy, am I ready to finish this case. Boy, oh boy, am I ready to finish this case. This case has gone on long enough. This case has gone on long enough. Things are going good, I just have one meeting today. Ah, I see. I wish you luck on that meeting then, Mobius. Oh,
Lady Arya, Danny says, thanks for being the best person in the world. We will always love, appreciate and support you until the very end. Thanks for bringing us happiness every day.
I appreciate that, Danny. Thank you so much. While I have that on my mind, for those of you who are in the Discord, I'm gonna reference a message that I sent earlier. Just, I love you guys as supporters and viewers. I appreciate all the support and everything that you've done for me. But remember, I am one person, first off. Second off, I am at most acquaintances with all of you. Which is not a bad thing, okay? Being acquaintances and being friendly with each other is more than okay. Alright? It doesn't mean that I'm close friends with you all. Because I don't know all of you, or any of you really, personally. So, it's just, you know, something that you have to keep in mind. But as long as y'all can respect that, I have no problems. As long as y'all respect that, I have no problems. Just remember boundaries. That's all. Just like a lot of other content creators. Exactly. Exactly. Acquaintance is a very weird word. Not really. I don't think so. I think it's because it's another way of stating that you're friendly with someone, but you're not quote unquote friends. You know what I mean? Arya stating the obvious. Well, sometimes we forget as human beings, you know? We are forgetful creatures sometimes, so sometimes it needs to be stated, you know? That is just, you know, the way things are. Just my luck, I've recovered from coughing, but now I'm suffering through these mouth sores. Ugh. Ow. Cold sores? Ouch. Hate those. Hope those will get better soon for you. Acquaintance is a way to say that you know someone but not on a personal level. Exactly. Oftentimes it's used for co-workers. Like sometimes you meet people at work and you know them, you're friendly with them, but you're not like friends with them. You're not close with them. You know what I mean? Little bit of a lesson in how to use the word acquaintance, I guess. Ugh. Ugh. Boy, oh boy, today is just one of those days where you do not want to do a dang thing. Ugh. Today is just one of those days where I want to be lazy. You know what I mean? So maybe after stream I'll get some lunch and then I'll, you know, be lazy for a little bit. 'Cause, you know, it's just one of those days. It's one of those days. Big stretch. It could also apply in school for classmates and teachers. Exactly! I feel like being lazy every now and then. Yeah! Exactly!
I'm thirsty.
Thank you for the hydrate. And it's a Shades for Shades. Hello! Hi, Shades. Good to see you. Hey, what it do? Hiya, Shades. Good to see ya. We'll have a shout out for Shades, please. Really cool friend. Golden Retriever VTuber. Plays a lot of variety of different games. Go check him out. He's awesome. Yeah, how was the Power Wash Simulator with Lyra yesterday, by the way? Hope that went well. Hope that was chaos and fun and just an overall good time. It was super fun. Awesome. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Pardon me. I feel like there's a simulator for everything now. Pretty much. I saw a tractor simulator. You know, I've seen all kinds of different simulators. We were getting to the bigger levels, so it took us a bit to clear the 3 levels we did last night. Ah, I see. Dishwashing simulator, anyone? I don't need a simulator for that one. I don't need a simulator for that one. I wash dishes by hand. Power wash simulator? Dang it, I missed it because I was sleeping. It is very satisfying though. Okay, Dark, I did see that the first time. Hey, yo, Mega Rock, welcome in. Learn to build a computer using PC Building Simulator? Well, there you go then. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna finish getting the game full screen here. And we are gonna get started here in just a moment. Heyo, heyo! To think that we're almost done with this trilogy. This is insanity. That we're almost done with this trilogy. I'm starting Salt Simulator, I mean Elden Ring base game this week too. Oh gosh. Oh dear, Shades. I wish you luck on that. Just cracking open a Pepsi and munching on spicy chips? Ooh. Chips sound really good right now. Not gonna lie. Nice old bag of chips sounds really good. We do not speak of the creepy old guy. No, we do not speak of the creepy old guy. Or the creepy doctor. This game is rated T for teen for a reason. If you want to get even more specific. Please note as well that the game is 17 plus. So this game is not meant for children. I mean, the old creepy when Bird came back, but sure, let's go with that. there's quite a few. Don't worry about it. Anyways. Bridge to the Turnabout, Part 4-2, Trial. Oh boy. Just learned Al-Haytham's VA, Nazi, is gonna voice one of the next characters to come to ZZZ. Why would you tell me that? Gosh dang it. Now I want to try it. Man. Gosh dang it. Man.
Name's Boot Hill.
Whoa.
Those who've heard of me know what I'm about. Those who haven't, well, for the sake of your own skin,
High-pitched boot.
keep it that way.
High-pitched Boot Hill. Thanks for the Boot Hill line. Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh boy. Little high-pitched Boot Hill. High-pitched Boot Hill. That's okay. That's alright. Boot Hill, a Hoyoverse character. Maybe that's a sign. Are you trying to tell me something? Oh gosh. Alright. Hold on. So that's your cowboy husbando, Boot Hill? Yes. You saw the gif. You know what he looks like. Alright. Anyways, focus. February 10th, 1:06 p.m. District Court. Courtroom number 7.
Now then, let's continue where we left off, shall we? Well, witness?
Yes. How can I help you, Mr. Judge?
Well, it seems that if we're to learn the truth, we'll need to hear your testimony.
I have no problem with that. But when you've seen what I have, sometimes the truth is better left unknown.
In any case, let's hear your testimony. Tell us about the plan that was carried out that night.
For reference, if you remember, chat, the spirit of the dead Dahlia Hawthorne is possessing a spirit medium at the moment. The whole plan began with my death. A stupid plan hatched by Morgan Fay to instill her own daughter as the next master.
Hello everyone,
But for it to
this is
work,
Ash. And
Maya
now it
Fey
is
would
plug
first
time.
have to die.
If you're enjoying the
Whoa.
stream, make sure to leave a follow and check
Bad
out Lady
timing for that
Arya's
line.
ASMR YouTube channel. You can also type !mark merch and throne to support our boss Angel even more.
Whoa.
You can also link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account to give a Prime sub once per month
Have
to
you
your
heard of
favorite
Twitch
streamers. Alright, Ash away. Enjoy the rest of the stream, Shade Slayers.
Let's go.
Please help Lady Arya get the second monitor if you can.
Absolutely. If you could help with that, I would appreciate it. Alrighty, though. Back to the plot. The idea was for me to kill Maya, and then have the blame pinned on Iris. The plan went wrong, but it seems to have succeeded anyway.
So that means you really are... Wait a minute. Did you just say the plan was to kill Maya Fey?
Yes. You have a problem with that?
Don't give us that nonsense. There's no way that... Watch yourself, trite. You got a problem. Solve it during cross-examination. That's one of my rules. Mr. Godot is correct. And by the way, that's one of my rules as well.
Hey, Deck, welcome in. But the bigger question is, who is the channeler? Indeed. Welcome in, Deck. Good to see you.
Oh, Maya? Could it be true? You were executed last month, correct?
Yes, I was hanged. It wasn't exactly pleasant. Ugh. I forgot about that part. Oh.
How did you manage to discuss the plan? When did you talk with Morgan Fay?
Last year, she was transferred to the same detention center as me. Since I was on death row and she was my mother, it was actually pretty easy to meet with her.
I see. So that's when you discussed the plan.
Ha! Are you crazy? At first, that woman was planning to kill me as well, even though I'm her own daughter.
All to make Pearl Fay the master of crime?
She's a cold, twisted woman. She thought she could finally regain her lost honor. The honor she lost when her younger sister, Misty, took her place as the master. Tatsuki Bakugo, welcome in. Hello. Good to see you. Ever since that day, she's been working on this plan.
A plan, huh?
Alright. I just noticed my color blindness played tricks on me. Huh? How do you mean? How do you mean, Grima? Lost honor? Did she check lost and found? Gosh dang it.
You're talking about Pearl Fay, is that correct?
Yes, though at first she had high hopes for the two of us.
You and your twin sister Iris.
That's correct. Fortunately, neither of us had much spiritual power. That's why we were abandoned by her, along with our father.
Abandoned?
I was thinking of who could be channeling Dahlia, and it can't be the person I was thinking because one color I missaw. Oh, I see. Okay.
Abandoned?
The only person I ever really cared about in life was myself. My sister was a nuisance, so I convinced my father to leave her at an old temple.
You mean Iris?
Yes. My father remarried a woman who also had a daughter. The less children you have, the more money there is to go around, right? Jeez, Dahlia! And on top of that, my father had absolutely no interest in children in general.
How horrible.
The really horrible one was that woman. That bitter, vengeful woman. It was her stubbornness that gave birth to that child, Pearl Fay. She was born with an abundance of spiritual power, unfortunately for her. Morgan Fay helped keep all of her broken hopes and dreams onto that poor child's back. All because of her pathetic dreams of having her bloodline become the main family.
Maya would have to die? But why?
For our bloodline to succeed as the main family, thus making Pearl the new master. The remaining descendants of the current master had to be taken care of.
But Pearls would never agree to a plan like that. She adores Maya.
How sad. You still don't get it, do you? What Pearl wanted had nothing to do with it. Morgan didn't care one bit about Pearl. The only thing she cared about was the position of the master. That's all.
That's ridiculous!
She was willing to sacrifice anything and anyone to achieve her goal. The life of her daughter, and naturally, the life of Maya Fay as well.
Anyone do that?
Oh,
What a heartless motive indeed. You? You were going to kill Maya?
Pearl didn't need to know anything about it. All she had to do was follow the instructions in the letter and channel me. Then I would have simply used her body and finished the job. In any case, I'm already dead and there's nothing any of you can do to me.
Ugh. So the plan was to blame the crime on your younger twin, on Sister Iris of Hazakura Temple.
She and I look absolutely identical. No one can tell us apart. If someone were to witness me killing Maya, naturally they would think it was Iris that had done it.
And the witness in this case was the head nun, Sister Bikini.
I never would have guessed she was going to return to Hazakura Temple that night. But she wound up seeing Iris's crime anyway.
But why did you want to pin the murder on Iris in the first place?
She sounds fixable? Shades! How is this fixable? Shades!
She's your twin sister, isn't she?
Twin sister? Don't make me laugh. She's nothing but a backstabber. I couldn't care less about her.
Backstabber?
You just don't understand. You never will. Anyway. Bum, bum, bum. There we go. A lot of people thought so too. Right.
You think the plan was a success?
You heard me. Just as that woman had hoped. Maya Fey is dead. Now the title of the master will pass on to Pearl Fey.
That's absurd! Maya's just... she's just trapped! Trapped inside the sacred cavern!
Really? You're as foolishly optimistic as ever, aren't you? My darling Feeny. Do you want to know the truth? Ever since we met, I've despised you. Your sniveling naivete and your pathetic faith in other people.
Just want to know one thing. What did you personally think of Morgan Fey's plan?
I told you already, didn't I? It was a stupid plan. It had no point, no value other than fulfilling her own greedy desires. Yes, it was certainly nothing to be proud of.
If that's how you feel, why did you help her carry it out? Why would you do it? Why would you kill Maya?
You may not understand it, being the kind and gentle soul that you are. You may not be able to appreciate why someone like me would help a woman like that.
So then tell me, why?
Isn't it obvious? I'm not like that woman. I only act in my own self-interest. The reason I helped her was for myself. For my own personal satisfaction.
What did you say? So this woman, Dahlia Hawthorne, she had her own reason for wanting Maya dead?
Do you understand why I would kill Maya Fey now? What my goal was?
Obviously, it's because you were helping Morgan Fey.
Helping? Don't make me laugh. From the day I was born to the day I died, I never helped anyone. I lived for myself, and in the end, I died for myself. I thought that was obvious.
So she wasn't actually cooperating with Morgan. She was just using Morgan in her plan so she could accomplish her own goal.
All I wanted to do was kill Maya Fey. That was the only way I could think of to get revenge.
Revenge? It looks like I have no choice but to present that piece of evidence. I can't believe it. She meant to kill Maya. I've got to keep a cool head. And I need to get more information out of her. It's the only way to understand this plan, and what she was after as well.
Oh boy, oh boy. I get it. I wonder why. What her goal was? I know. I know. She sounds lovely. Phoenix can never have a normal day in court. Oh, absolutely. How about the dear sister of Maya, who was the one that put you in jail in the first place? How about that?
It be that your actual goal had nothing to do with Maya Fey herself?
As I said, none of you have the power to punish me anymore. Because I'm already dead. Well, I had the same problem, you see. You can't punish the dead. And you can't take revenge against them either.
You wanted to take revenge on someone?
I was sentenced to die because of that woman. Mia Fey. Ah ha 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 ha! Ha ha! Of course!
I somehow knew this was it.
I wanted to send her a message. It was at her hands that I suffered my first humiliation. I wanted her to feel the same pain she made me feel. Sadly, when I realized revenge was impossible, I gave up.
And the reason it was impossible? Was it perchance that Mia Fey had already died?
Yes, and I realized there's only one way to take revenge against the dead.
And how do you do that?
Even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever. I wanted to take away the person that Mia Fey loved the most. I wanted to kill her with my own hands. That would be the one and only way I could take my revenge against Mia Fey. You sick, twisted woman!
Joins the guild.
You absolutely twisted woman! Natsuki Bakugo, thank you so much for that follow, and welcome to the Shadeslayer Guild. Thank you so much. That was the reason I helped out with that woman's plans.
Just for that? Just for that you would kill Maya? Your goal was no different than that of Morgan Fey. As they say, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. What a cruel plan. Cruel, cold, and heartless.
Don't waste your time preaching to the dead. I've already told you there's not a thing you can do to me. That night, at about 9:30 p.m., I materialized into this world. I quickly pinned my hair up and put on a demon warding hood. Then I picked up the staff that was by my side and left Hazakura Temple. Wait a minute! That don't sound right.
So, it was Elise Donin who channeled her after all.
That ridiculous head nun never noticed a thing. She left Maya Fey at the inner temple and wobbled back, clutching her poor old back.
Well, what did you do then?
That kid was easier to handle than I had hoped. I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and...
So then you saying you stabbed Maya?
It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that.
What does that mean? No clear memory.
I don't know. I think I was stabbed.
You were stabbed?
At the last minute, Maya Fey must have stabbed me. I'm sure of it.
That's not like her at all. Maya wouldn't stab a french fry with a plastic fork.
Anyway, I suddenly lost consciousness. But before I did, I scrawled her name on the lantern. Just as I was passing out, I wrote Maya behind my back. I had hoped it would cast suspicion on her.
I can't believe she was thinking of that until the bitter end.
That's where my memory temporarily stops.
It stops?
I don't have any memory of actually killing Maya Fey with my own two hands. My very last memory was Maya's terror-filled eyes. When I woke up after that, I was in the sacred cavern, surrounded by darkness.
You were in the sacred cavern?
The entrance was sealed with one of those trick locks. Somehow I had been trapped in there.
But how did you wind up in there?
I'd like to know that myself. Anyway, I was worried. I didn't know whether or not Maya Fey was dead. And I swore I wouldn't return to the underworld until I knew I had killed her myself.
For a ghost, you're one tough cookie.
I wanted to get out of there and make sure she was dead. But I couldn't do it. I couldn't get out.
The trick lock stopped you, huh?
I didn't know how to remove it.
So then you're saying you were actually confined against your will inside this sacred cavern?
Yes, I wanted to get rid of that annoying lock as soon as possible. But it wasn't easy. I kept getting interrupted while I was working on it.
Interrupted?
It was early in the morning, but someone came into the training hall.
What? Who? Would it have been Maya?
I thought the same thing, but I couldn't see.
Why not?
If someone had spotted me, I would have lost my chance to take revenge. So I made sure to hide myself well at the back of the sacred cavern.
That morning, only 2 people could have gone into the training hall. Maya and Pearls. Pearls went there to cover the hanging scroll in gravy.
Still, I finally managed to remove the lock. But I was too late.
What do you mean by that?
The flies had already started to gather. The bridge had been fixed and the police had started their investigation, correct? Naturally, I couldn't go out. So instead, I returned to the cavern and put the lock back on myself. I realized I wouldn't get a chance to see Maya's corpse as I had hoped. But just then, Lady Luck showed up.
Lady Luck?
After that big earthquake, she showed up, all by herself.
The real Iris?
She said she'd come to make sure the sacred cavern was all right. Stupid girl. I came out from the sacred cavern and got a feel for the situation. And I locked her away in my place. I had finally learned exactly what had happened. It was then that I learned that the plan had actually succeeded.
What do you mean your plan had succeeded?
I had misunderstood one thing, you see. That night, the one that had summoned me, I had assumed that it was Pearl Fey.
Oh, well, of course you would have assumed that. It was written in the instructions.
But I was wrong. The person that had actually called my spirit back was Misty Fey, the picture book author.
What?
Well, that's really the only possibility, isn't it? After I lost consciousness in the garden. It was her body that was left lying there. Maya Fey. I wasn't able to kill her with my own hands after all. But even so, I made her commit the most vile sin a human can commit.
And that is?
Matricide. The sin of killing her own mother.
No way! Order! Order in the court! What is the meaning of this?
It's true that I was the one who attacked Maya Fey. But even so, the murderer who actually snuffed out Misty Fey's life was none other than your darling little Maya.
Ridiculous! That's nonsense!
Are you sure about that? Just think about it. There's even evidence supporting these facts, isn't there?
What? What do you mean? What is this so-called evidence?
The fact that Maya Fey has disappeared is evidence enough, isn't it?
Huh?
The idea that she's still in the sacred cavern is just ridiculous. She wasn't able to escape from the inner temple. That much is obvious. In that case, there's only one place she could be.
Where?
Do I have to spell it out? The bottom of the Eagle River. Where else?
Eagle River?
Maya Fey killed her long-lost mother. Can you imagine the guilt she must have felt when she realized that? That's why she threw herself into the Eagle River. Most bodies that wind up in there are lost forever. So what do you have to say now, Beanie? Huh?
Whoops. Sorry, that's my phone. What kind of ringtone is that? Godot here. Okay, thanks. Was it something important? They just finished removing the locks from the sacred cavern. That's great! What about Maya? There was a woman in the cave. Was it Maya Fey? It was the accused, Sister Iris. Huh?
Don't look so surprised. I locked her in there yesterday. I just finished telling you that.
So, what about Maya? Where is she? There was no one else found inside the sacred cavern. No, it can't be.
I told you, didn't I? She's dead.
No. No! It seems that this case has come to an end. A tragic end. Sadly, it appears the killer of Elise Cronin, also known as Misty Fey, was her own daughter, Maya Fey. Overcome with guilt for what she had done, Maya Fey jumped to her death in the raging waters of Eagle River. Can't be.
Ha!
Right. Have you ever heard this one? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Sherlock Holmes! Sherlock Holmes, baby! I know that line very well. Let's go! Thanks, Godot. Alright.
No matter how improbable it may seem. What is that supposed to mean, Prosecutor Godot? According to this witness, Maya Fey threw herself into the Eagle River. However, is that really the truth? Remember, this woman testified earlier that the bridge was already on fire when the murder was taking place in the garden, which means that Maya had thrown herself into the river. It must have been from the inner temple side, near the bridge.
That's right! That's where she jumped from!
But that's impossible. It's impossible to jump into the river from there. What? Don't get your panties all twisted up, Trite. Just relax and think through the whole thing again. So it's impossible?
There's always one truth. Shinjitsu, itsumo hitotsu. Sorry, case closed. Well, case closed, Detective Conan reference.
Maya couldn't have thrown herself into Eagle River? Well, Mr. Wright, Miss Hawthorne claims Miss Fey threw herself into the river from the inner temple side. Do you have any evidence that refutes this claim?
If she threw herself off from the inner temple side, there's no water there. There's no water! Absolutely, Dark.
It's impossible to jump into the Eagle River from the inner temple side. No one knows that better than this witness.
What did you say?
11 years ago, you jumped into the very same river. Take a look at this overhead map. As you can see, below the cliff on the inner temple side is a big rock shelf. Oh! Oh! You're right! She wouldn't have reached the river if she had jumped off from there. In other words, if she had jumped, we should be able to see her body in this photo. So you finally figured it out.
You... No!
Order! Order!
You're just playing with me! Maya Faye's body is at the bottom of the Eagle River. There's nowhere else she could possibly be hiding.
Miss Hawthorne, have you ever heard this one before? Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Yes, just a few minutes ago.
Maya Faye wasn't inside the sacred cavern. You know now that she didn't throw herself into the Eagle River. Correct. That eliminates all the most likely possibilities. Now, although it seems improbable, there's still one other place she could be. What? What is this one possibility you're talking about?
That's obviously a bluff! So where is her dead body then?
Finally, I think the pieces are falling into place. Normally the living have no way to punish the dead. But I think there is a way to give Dahlia Hawthorne the ultimate punishment. Shall I tell you, Miss Hawthorne? Shall I tell you where Maya Faye is this very instant? Maya Faye is
in this very courtroom!
There's only one possibility left. Namely, she's right here in this very courtroom.
What?
Maya Faye is here. You say she's in my courtroom? Dahlia Hawthorne, I seem to recall that you said I had misunderstood one thing, you see.
So what?
But I think there's one more thing you misunderstood.
What do you mean?
Tell me something. At this very moment, who is channeling Dahlia Hawthorne?
Why, that's obvious! It's Pearl Faye, that pathetic little sniveling runt!
You're wrong. Pearl's tried, but she couldn't do it.
I've never failed at channeling someone. This is the first time it's happened.
Isn't there any explanation for why you couldn't channel a spirit?
It could happen if someone else was already channeling the same spirit. Someone called me before Pearl did? But who?
Pearl's even tried again on the day after the crime, but she couldn't do it. What could that mean? I think the truth is becoming clearer to you right now, am I correct? It wasn't Pearls that channeled you. There was someone who called you before she could.
All right, it was Maya!
This is an easy one. Pearls couldn't do it, and Misty Faye is gone. There's only one possibility left. Come on already. I can't stand the tension. Dahlia Hawthorne, the person channeling you right now must be Maya Faye.
There's nothing more deceptive than an obvious fact. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Fact! Fact, Dark! Fact! What?!
But how could that be? Remember what this witness, Dahlia Hawthorne, said about her goal. She said that her goal is to kill Maya Faye. Yes, that's right. But if Maya channeled the spirit of someone that was trying to kill her... Well, Gramps, what would happen? Could it be? It looks like you finally understand, Your Honor.
Well, I don't. What are you going on about?
What I'm going on about is the reason Maya channeled you. And there's only one reason. To protect herself from you.
To protect herself? From me?
Yes, on the night of the crime, you were only interested in one thing. Killing Maya Fey. The path back to Hazakura Temple was closed off, and there was nowhere for her to run. So then the problem became, where would be the safest place to hide?
You mean that's when she channeled me?
All this time, you thought you'd been channeled by Pearls. That's why it never occurred to you that Maya's hiding place was you.
No, don't say that. You're saying that Dahlia Hawthorne, was played for a fool by that little whelp? Maya Fey killed herself. Isn't it obvious?
Sorry, but no. It would have been impossible for her to jump into the Eagle River. This was the only avenue of escape open to Maya. The only way that Maya could disappear from the inner temple.
I don't believe you. A stupid little girl like that who has never been out in the real world. She could never have come up with a plan like that. Who could have ever given her such a brilliant idea?
Well,
Me, of course.
Mia!
Hey, yo! Mia's here! Welcome, Mia! Woohoo! Hi! Ready to take care of this woman? Ready to take care of this demon? Once and for all, Mia? You deserve it.
It's over, Dahlia. You made the same mistake in the past. And hello, MIA.
Mia deserves this moment. Mia deserves this moment. Mia Fey.
It's been a long time, Dahlia Hawthorne. So it's true. It was you.
Yes.
Ha. You're something else.
But what? What are you doing here?
That hair. It's Pearls, right?
Tell me something, Dahlia. I want you to think back to that night one more time. You had just cornered Maya in the Inner Temple's garden. And then, in the final moments of the fight, you lost consciousness. I was stabbed by Maya Fey! Actually, Maya lost consciousness at the same time as you.
She did? Not terribly surprising since she was about to be killed.
When she woke up, she was in the training hall. That's when Maya decided she needed help, so she channeled me. She explained in a memo the situation she was in. She asked me what I thought she should do. She did that? I can't believe it. Of course, I didn't have all the details. But one thing was perfectly clear.
And that was?
I knew that you couldn't be allowed to wander free.
Free? What do you mean?
It was a race against time, so I wrote down 2 things that Maya had to do. Channel Dahlia Hawthorne as soon as possible, and lock herself in the sacred cavern until help arrived.
So it was Maya who put that lock on there. Yes, but why did you order her to do those 2 things?
If she hadn't done it, Dahlia Hawthorne would have been channeled by someone else. By one Pearl Fey.
Pearls?
Yes, Pearls didn't properly understand the plan. So all she was trying to do was follow her mother, Morgan Fey's instructions. If she had succeeded in channeling Dahlia Hawthorne's spirit, things would have turned out very badly, to put it mildly.
So that's how it was. Dahlia Hawthorne was the body of Pearl Fey, To kill Maya at all costs. Yes, it certainly sounds like that was the intent all along.
How dare you! I won't forget this!
Why not just admit it? Dahlia Hawthorne, your little plan was nothing but a big failure.
Yes. Another failure to add to the pile of shame, wouldn't you say? What do you mean by another?
Think about it, Dahlia. Remember all your past crimes? Not a single one of them was a success. They all ended in failure.
What? How dare you?
11 years ago. The fake kidnapping. Your very first crime. You got your hands on the $2 million diamond, but... After Terry Falls escaped and went to meet with Valerie Hawthorne, the truth was exposed.
Shut your mouth! That wasn't my fault! It was because of that stupid oaf of a prisoner and that weakling of a policewoman!
And then, 1 year later, you tried to kill me. Well, I'm still alive, but... You wound up killing someone else. As a result, you were sentenced to death. It's one stupid move after another for you, but it's no longer funny.
You! Wipe that smug, happy-go-lucky smile off your face!
And now this. You've messed up again. You let Maya Fey escape, even though she was right there in front of you.
Fey! Mia Fey! Mia Fey! Mia Fey! You spinster! I was supposed to kill Maya Fey like I swore I would. And if only you had gotten this spiky-haired jerk the guilty verdict, I wouldn't have been hanged to death. True. But I think you finally understand, Dahlia Hawthorne. You will never defeat me. What? What did you say? Whether you're alive, dead, or somewhere in between, you will never defeat me. As long as I am around, you're destined to lose for all of eternity.
I remember what you said earlier in this trial. You said there was no way we could punish you, because you were already dead.
What about it?
Then you said, even when the body dies, the spirit, the ego, it lives on forever.
That's very true, Dahlia. And that's exactly the punishment you'll never be able to escape from. For all of eternity, you'll have to remain as Dahlia Hawthorne, a miserable, pathetic, weak creature who could never win at anything. And for you, there is no escape from that. No hope of freedom. Since the day you were executed, the narrow bridge that once stretched out in front of you has burnt to a crisp. You're wrong. It can't be. How could I lose to the likes of you?
It no longer matters. I don't care whether you win or lose anymore. The only thing I want is for you to come out of Maya's body right now!
Whoa, jeez! There she goes. I'm not ready, not ready to go. There she is. Sit.
Now then, I assume you are the real Iris.
Yes, I was just rescued from the sacred cavern.
I must say, you and your twin sister are indeed identical from what I can see. In any case, it appears that everything has finally been cleared up. Godot, what happened to Dahlia Hawthorne? If you ask me, Your Honor, it looks like she went back to the hell she came from. It seems that Misty Faye wasn't the only victim of this crime. Maya Faye, as well as the young Pearl Faye, are also victims of this wretched and selfish plan. Yes, Your Honor. The tragedy of Medium Valley has finally come to an end, it seems. It would be best for everyone if no further attempt was made to channel that spirit again. Your Honor? Yes, what is it? About this whole spirit medium thing. It's almost weird how comfortable you seem to be with the concept now. Well, to be frank, my younger brother is quite judgmental. He often criticizes me for not studying hard enough. That's why I made a concerted effort to try to study up on the Quran channeling technique. Hey, isn't that the New Year's issue of Occult? I've seen quite a few things in my many years on this bench. In all that time, I finally learned this one thing. Each case is different. It takes place in its own world, if you will. In order to fully understand that world, first we have to immerse ourselves in it completely. And that's where my brother and I used to differ. Never thought of it that way. At any rate, it's time to pass judgment in the case of Iris of Hazakura Temple.
Objection!
Whoa!
You're a little too fast for that gamble, you. What do you mean by that, Mr. Godot?
This trial, it isn't over yet. That's what he means.
What?
Right. Remember what Miss Evil Spirit said in her testimony?
Huh? Dahlia's testimony?
I caught up with her in front of the stone lantern. Then I took out the dagger I got from the storeroom and... It's strange, but I don't have a clear memory of what happened after that. I think I was stabbed. Just as Dahlia Hawthorne was about to attack Maya, she was stabbed and killed by someone.
Yes, that's right.
The person that was ultimately killed was the spirit medium that channeled Dahlia. Elise Donan. No, Misty Faye. But who killed her? We still don't know who did it.
This isn't over?
Unless someone else is found guilty, the accused is still on trial. We can't let her walk until there's evidence that proves her innocence.
Wait. But this court isn't prepared for any further testimony.
The prosecution is ready to call our final witness.
Final witness?
This one will clear up the whole mystery. The mystery of who killed Misty Faye.
Indeed.
Is it really all right, Mr. Prosecutor? Of course it's all right, Madam Attorney.
Very well then. Who is this final witness?
Ah, isn't it obvious? There's one person who saw the whole event and will put the final dagger in this case.
To someone who saw the murder take place?
The very person who saw her mother killed in front of her own eyes.
You mean Maya? You can't! She can't testify just after what she's just been through.
We need to find the truth. The prosecution calls Maya Fey to the witness stand.
Very well. But first, we'll take a brief recess. We'll have to wait for Miss Fey to recover before summoning her. Once we receive the doctor's permission, we will proceed with the trial.
Hey, Trite, I got something to say to you, so listen up.
What is it?
I don't think much of you's a lawyer. It's always the same with you. You somehow manage to just squeak by without even the faint understanding of the case. Some beautiful woman always seems to come dashing in at the last minute to save you.
You got some nerve!
But that's not going to happen this time. This time, you're going to have to do this by yourself.
That's enough. This court is now in recess.
February 10th, 2:56 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 1.
I'm truly sorry about everything. You're working so hard to defend me. But I was missing all day. Didn't even have a chance to talk.
Right. I met Iris at the training hall yesterday. They had already switched places. Iris was inside the sacred cavern.
I wanted to at least be in the defendant's box today to root you on.
Well, it wasn't your fault. Locked up this whole time. There's something more important than that, though. I have to ask you. Why did you help your sister out as much as you did?
Huh?
If you had tried to get help at the sacred cavern yesterday, you wouldn't have spent an entire day locked up in there.
My sister. I felt sorry for her. She was abandoned by our mother, and never got any love from our father either.
Yes, but it was the same for you too, wasn't it?
Yes, but at least I had Sister Bikini, who was like a mother to me. Only Dahlia had come with me to Hazakura Temple. I always loved her. Dahlia was always so smart, so strong. She never complained about anything. That's why I promised her that I would help her.
You talking about the fake kidnapping case 11 years ago?
Yes. I wanted to be useful to her in some way. But, as usual, I was too cowardly. Last minute, I ran away. Because of that, Dahlia's stepsister, Valerie, ended up...
That was the case that wounded Mia so badly.
But things didn't end there, of course. Some people suspected that my sister was involved in the murder.
Some people? You must mean...
Yes, 2 defense attorneys. Mia Fey and Diego Armando. After poisoning Mr. Armando, who was getting too close to learning the truth, Dahlia even tried to kill the person who had unknowingly hid the poison for her. You.
That's right. Iris, there's one more thing that I have to ask you.
Yes? What is it?
On the night of the murder, the person that cleaned up the corpse of the victim, Billy Stoneham, was it really you?
Yes. It was me. That night, after I rang the bell, I went back to my room. At around 10:30, I received a call on my cell phone. There's a problem. Come to the inner temple right away. I got on the snowmobile and headed for the inner temple. But the path to the inner temple was cut off.
The path to the inner temple was cut off. Right?
Exactly. We can't just leave the body here.
You gotta do this exactly as I say, got it?
It was me. I was the one that received her body. The murder weapon had been left in her body so she wouldn't bleed too much. The staff that Mystic Elise always held.
So the actual murder weapon was the staff.
Yes, that's right. I brought the body back to Hazakura Temple on the snowmobile.
Why? Why did you alter the body?
I didn't want anyone to know that the staff was the murder weapon. I didn't want to leave anything that would lead back to Misty Faye. So I dressed her in a robe and stabbed her with the Shishito. I wiped the blood off the staff's blade and left it next to her on the ground.
Iris, just tell me one last thing. Tell me the name of the person that called your cell phone. The real killer.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I can't do it. Can't say who did it.
Let's see.
Victim's staff has a sword hidden inside. The actual weapon used to murder the victim.
Defendant!
Yes.
Judge is calling you. He wants to see you in his chambers. He has some questions about Dahlia Hawthorne.
All right. Well then, I'll see you later. There's something I want to tell you.
Oh, okay. Something she wants to tell me. It's true. Iris cooperated with the real killer. Maybe even from the very beginning.
Phoenix.
Mia! How is Maya doing?
Physically, I'm not worried. She'll recover completely. But emotionally, she's been hurt very badly by this case.
Let's see. You don't mean she's learned who Elise Donim really was?
Yes. I went to the medical office and talked with her. I told her everything I knew.
Why?
Maya's stronger than you think. Alright, bye, Shades! Thank you for stopping by. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay sharp!
I knew she could take it. All of it. What do you mean by that?
I want you to figure that answer out for yourself. The trial is about to restart. The real killer. Do you know who it is yet?
Iris wouldn't tell me who called her. Still, I think that just maybe I know who it was. That night, the victim was killed in the garden of the inner temple. And the criminal wasn't just there by accident. Which means that the killer knew of Dahlia's plan from the very beginning.
And one more thing. The victim was moved to the Hazakura Temple side via pendulum. In other words, the criminal couldn't cross the bridge. That means they were stuck on the inner temple side for almost an entire day.
Exactly. So the culprit. Someone that wasn't in Hazakura Temple the following day.
That's as much help as I can give you. The rest of the battle is yours to win, or lose.
Okay, I've got it. Thank you, Mia. It's almost time to bring this case to an end. What exactly did Maya see anyway? And who was it that actually killed Misty Faye? Whoever it was, I have to prove it. Me. By myself.
To be continued. Woo! And we're still not done. We are still not done. Alrighty. Time for a recess real quick. Ugh. The Phoenix Fly solo time. Indeed. Alrighty. I will be right back, everybody. Don't go anywhere. I will return shortly. BRB! Alright, I'm back. Ready and raring to go as I'll ever be. Boy. This is it, chat. This is it. This is the final part. Are we ready? Because here we go. February 10th, 3:36 p.m. District Court, courtroom number 7.
Now then, before we proceed any further, I'm going to announce the results of the test we had performed earlier. Tests. Yes, tests. On the bloody dagger that was found stuck in the pine tree. Oh yeah, that. Totally forgot about it. That's the weapon that Maya Fey used when she fought with the victim. So what are the results? Was it the victim's blood, or... Due to time constraints, a full test wasn't possible. However, there's one thing we can say with certainty. The blood that was on this dagger was not the victim's blood. Ooh! That is all. Now then, let's restart this trial. So it wasn't Misty's blood on the dagger. And whose was it?
Dagger. Found stuck in a pine tree in the inner temple garden. The blood doesn't match the victim's.
I'm sure both the defense and the prosecution know this, but this trial is rapidly coming to a close. Both sides will need to show firm evidence with their claims.
I understand, Your Honor.
From what I've heard, the witness is dangerously weak, physically speaking. So let's finish this quickly. Agreed. Very well. Please bring in the last witness.
Hi, Maya. Hi, sweetie. You poor girl.
Witness, please tell us your name and profession.
Maya Fey. My profession is, I'm the assistant manager at Wright & Co. Law Offices.
According to the magazine I have here, you're a spirit medium of the crime channeling technique.
I'm frightened. The Fey clan. I don't want any more to do with it.
The pain the Fey bloodline causes must be unbearable. Very well. Now then, Miss Fey. When the event occurred, you were in the garden of the inner temple. And you witnessed the moment of Miss Elise Tonium's murder. Is that correct?
I didn't see anything.
Straighten up this instant, young lady. Pick your head up and speak clearly. There's always time for crying later.
But I...
Your mother was killed right in front of your eyes. There's nothing you can do to change that fact. But there's something you can do. You can finish this. You've been watching the whole thing, right? You've seen the witnesses come out, and you've seen us squeeze the truth out of them. Now it's your turn. Let's hear your testimony. On the night of the crime, what exactly did you see happen? Witness, if you please.
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, he has a good point, but still, yeah, very blunt.
I was passing through the garden on the way to the spare prep room when it happened. Suddenly, someone struck me over the head. I stumbled and ended up against a stone lantern. I think I screamed, "Help me!" Then something warm splashed over me. That's when I lost consciousness.
So you were struck on the head. I suppose it must have been this staff. Maya, the person who hit you. It was Dahlia Hawthorne, wasn't it?
Sorry, Nick. I couldn't see. Know who it was.
Maya, think hard.
Sorry, Nick, but I really couldn't.
Huh. Can't say it was an especially good night for young ladies to be walking around alone. It seems that it will be hard to determine the criminal through testimony alone. Very well then, Mr. Wright, please begin your cross-examination. Hang in there. She doesn't look well at all.
Poor Maya. This question. I think I screamed. You think you screamed?
You think you screamed, but you're not sure?
Listen, I was a complete wreck. It was dark and I couldn't see my attacker. Was it a man? A woman? An adult? A child? I had no idea. I was scared out of my wits.
Believe me, my dear, I'm certain I would have soiled my robes.
Thought this person might attack me, so I Anyway, I'm pretty sure that I screamed. I thought that it was my last hope.
Wow. Sounds like poor little Maya was really out of her mind. I wonder what she meant by last hope. What do I do? Do I press her for more details?
What's this about my last hope?
Wait a minute, Maya. What's this about my last hope stuff?
What? What do you mean by your last hope?
No. That's what you said. You said my last hope.
Huh? What? I said what?
Look, you were facing an attacker that you couldn't see and you screamed, right? You screamed, "Help me."
Yeah.
But you testified that you screamed because you thought it was your last hope.
Oh. Well, that's like... What do you call it when that happens?
Maya's not doing so well up there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right! I remember now. I was facing my attacker, but that's not who I was screaming at.
What did you just say?
Yeah, that's right! It was the person behind my attacker that I was yelling at. That's who I was screaming to for help. Ah!
What is it now?
I messed up. I didn't mean to let that slip out.
Huh? Witness! Are you absolutely sure of what you're saying? Behind the attacker, there was another person.
I am. Well, I meant to keep that part a secret. What have I done?
It takes a ton of pressure to make a diamond. That's what I always say.
Ton of pressure.
You're in a court of law here. You can't make things up or try to hide things in this chamber. Witness, the information you just presented is vital to this case. I want you to add it to your testimony.
I could see a man behind my attacker by the light of the stone lantern.
A man, huh? However, how could you see from the stone lantern when the stone lantern was not lit at the time of the crime? How do you explain that, Maya?
So, there was a man standing behind your attacker?
Yeah.
That man, he's the killer. He stabbed her from behind. He's the one who killed Elise Stonin, otherwise known as Misty Faye, your mother.
The killer.
Maya, you know who killed your mother, don't you? But what is the meaning of this, Mr. Wright? To be frank, Your Honor, I think she's in shock and quite confused. That's why she hasn't noticed the huge problem with her testimony.
Huh? What do you mean? What problem?
Maya, on the night of the crime, that stone lantern was out of commission.
Huh? What?
It's true. There was no light anywhere in the garden that night.
No!
Order! Order in the court! Mr. Godot, explain this! Add the pureness of milk to the perfect clear darkness of coffee. Stir. That is the state of the witness's mind right now. Cup of cafe a la.
Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you for the stretch as well.
Cafe au lait? Is that even legal? Mr. Trite's words are the milk, and you are the spoon. Your Honor. I'm a spoon? I'm no spoony bard, I'll have you know.
Final Fantasy IV reference, let's go! Please, someone clip that. Oh my gosh, I swear. Please, I beg you. Someone please clip that. Oh my gosh. The Spoony Bard! The Spoony Bard's return! Revenge of the Bard. Oh my gosh, that's amazing! That's fantastic! Oh my gosh. Wow. I forgot that that was actually said. Now that I'm playing Final Fantasy IV, I finally get it! That's so funny!
You must have noticed it too, Trite. This witness's mental state is highly unstable right now. It's not hard to understand why she would make a little mistake like that. Sorry, but that's not going to cut it. What did you say? If there truly was no light in the garden, then there's a fatal contradiction in the witness's last bit of testimony.
Nick!
May I? Recall the witness's statement about her attacker. She said that she didn't know if it was a man or a woman, an adult or a child. And yet, the witness could describe a person that was standing behind her attacker. She was quite clearly described him as a man. In other words, that would have to mean that Maya actually saw our mystery person, despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of her own attacker.
No!
Order! 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 What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Miss Faye saw the real killer under pitch black conditions?
Objection!
Right. Do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene.
Objection!
There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Huh? Maya, did you see who the You did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him. Cover? For the man that killed her mother? There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is.
Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please. I'm begging you.
Ah. Talk a good game, Trite. But let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch dark. So what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff.
No, Nick. Don't. Please. Stop.
Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth. All right, Mr. Wright. Time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Miss Faye saw in the darkness?
There's only one person it could be. Only one person. There's only one truth. And no matter how improbable it seems, only the truth is left. There's only one person it could be.
Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? What? But how do you propose to show us something like that? It's easy. You just need to recreate the conditions of that night. The conditions? Your Honor, the defense officially requests that all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. What? This is... But it can't be. Huh. That was a nice bit of deduction. Right.
And there it is. There's your proof. It was Godot.
Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder. Order! Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it? Ah. Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person. What do you mean by that? If you got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night? Was it 3 glowing red lights? Well, witness, answer the question.
You're wrong! I never saw that!
Maya?
I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason!
What? Well, witness, Mr. Wright, that is... Stop your chattering, Your Honor. Chattering? If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's one of my rules. All right. Well then, let's continue with the testimony. Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but...
Oh, Maya.
When I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. All of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up, too. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man.
So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think that the killer was a man.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor,
No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said. You are utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the culprit was a man. Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination.
Dear. Oh boy. The torches were lit and the body was gone, huh?
The torches were lit.
Yes, that's how I noticed that the whole scene had changed.
I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body?
That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would have gained anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya.
Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene.
So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? Did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural-looking rectangular shape around the lantern.
There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use.
An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away?
Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow?
Yeah. The area had collapsed and ended up being splattered.
In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it, there was no need to remove that amount.
That's true. He could have just scooped up the snow that was stained with blood.
It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue.
But I think this will help explain them.
Hiding the blood, huh? Naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yes, I think so.
But why would the killer tamper with the crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide.
Truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something.
Did?
Yes. Felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake.
Oh, what? Hiding it for you?
Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden.
She may have thought that you had done it. Oh, she definitely would have thought so. And you're saying that's why the killer cleaned up the crime scene to make it look like nothing had happened?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony.
Yes, Your Honor.
You think so, huh, Maya? Well, only one way to find out. Only one way to find out.
The body of Elise Stonin was carried all the way to Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, snow that we suspect was covered in blood, was scooped up and removed. Reasonable to believe that all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd. Oh, and what would that be? Must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't they wipe the writing off the lantern? Ah! You're right! Oh, order! 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 But, Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene? Indeed, but it doesn't make sense to remove the body and remove the bloody snow. And then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing.
Objection!
But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior? Why would this killer move the body and remove all the snow, but then leave the bloody writing on the lantern? I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it. Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion. Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern?
Well, there's only one thing that's possible. The killer didn't notice it.
Prosecutor Godot, earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. Maybe you're not as dumb as I thought. The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime had occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean that they didn't notice it.
But that doesn't make any sense! The torches were all lit and everything! There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as that!
You're right. There is no way any normal person would. What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright? There's only one person involved in this incident who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether. And who would that be? Who is the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing?
There's only one person. Godot.
Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday. My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything. You can't see everything? Is that correct, Mr. Godot? This lantern was submitted as evidence today. I would like the court to think back to the moment it was first presented. This lantern? There's something written on it. Why? It's written in blood! Nonsense. This lantern, it's as clean as a whistle. Mr. Godot, just admit it. There are certain colors you can't see, correct? You can't see red on a white background, can you? That's right. We went through this once before, during the poisoning case at Tribulations. This is the apron the delightful Miss Bird was wearing at the time, and somehow spilled coffee on. There's something still bothering me, Mr. Godot. Why have you not explained the bloodstain to the court? Bloodstain? What bloodstain would that be? Don't play games, prosecutor! The blood-colored stain that's smeared all over the apron! That's ridiculous! No one told me anything about a bloodstain! You could see the coffee on the white apron, but you couldn't see the ketchup, because it was red. It's strange. In a black and white photo, those letters would have appeared black to me. I wonder, why am I the only one that can see them? So then, Mr. Godot, are you admitting it? Are you admitting that you can't see the red writing on the lantern? Hey, Gramps. Didn't you know? That's the reason why I don't drink red tea. I wasn't sure about it until now, but I just can't believe it. Prosecutor Godot is the murderer. But there's no going back now. I finally figured out the truth. Mr. Godot, the defense at this time formally accuses you. You are the murderer of Miss Elise Donen, also known as Miss Misty Fey. It's hard to believe this may be true. However, once again Mr. Wright has brought up a disquieting fact about you. Just make sure you don't fill out the indictment in red ink, Gramps. Come on. How does a little graffiti make me into the killer? Huh? Besides, it's not like it's my name that's written there. I'm certain that the killer wasn't able to see the color red. This is rich. Do go on, Trite. The answer is right there at the crime scene. In the snow. The snow? How so? Well, for example, why did the killer move all that snow? Your Honor, you said it yourself. If he wanted to hide the bloody snow, why not take out just that area? Yes, why didn't he take just that area? Ah! Could it be? Yes, the killer couldn't see the red blood that had seeped into the snow. And so, he had to remove all of the snow. He couldn't be sure of where the blood had landed, so he removed the whole area.
Objection!
Isn't it more likely that the killer couldn't see the blood because it was dark?
Excuse me, pineapple.
Not a chance. The torches were all lit. He would have been able to see just fine. It seems that once again this trial has taken an unexpected turn, to say the least. Can you explain this, Mr. Godot?
Wait just a minute!
Maya! What is it, witness?
Mr. Godot isn't the killer! After all, he didn't even come to the Inner Temple until 2 days after the murder took place! He didn't show up until after that old bridge got mixed up.
Maya. Can't testify to something like that.
Why? What do you mean? I may not look it, but I'm... Ah!
After the murder happened, you didn't even exist. He didn't. I'm afraid I don't follow. Are you a senile, old man? We established this just a little while ago. After the murder, this witness was unconscious for a long time. Because she was channeling Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh, that's right.
Please, Your Honor, let me add to my testimony! Nick! Please listen to me!
Undercover for Godot no matter what the cost?
Hey, Aiden, welcome in.
If that's the case, then I've got no choice. Your Honor, let's hear her testimony. If it means we're going to hear the whole truth, I say we should not silence her. Nicely done, Trite. Very well. Let's hear the witness's testimony. Please tell us what happened at the inner temple after the murder.
Yes, sir. After I woke up, I began channeling. I left my spirit left me, as it were. But little Pearly was there at the inner temple too. Pearly was also stuck on the inner temple side that night. The next morning, she looked around but couldn't find anyone. The next day, when the bridge was finally fixed, she was in the spare prep room. That's when Mr. Godot arrived at the inner temple for the first time. He found Pearly pursed and cheered her right up.
Who is this Pearly?
That's my little cousin, Pearl Faye.
So when did you hear about this?
Oh, just a while ago, when I was in the medical office.
I'm terribly sorry. But what you heard from someone else is simply not admissible as testimony.
What? Come on! Pearly would never tell a lie. She's a way more honest person than I'll ever be.
Real smart, Maya. You always know the best things to say when you're under oath. The prosecution has no objection. Believe the witness. But Mr. Godot! Let's just move on to the cross-examination, if the defense has no objections. This is highly unusual, but... Well, Mr. Wright, let's get this cross-examination started. Oh boy.
The one thing that she said about Pearly definitely was the one that intrigued me. Alright, bye, Danny. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay sharp.
He cheered her up?
That's what Pearly said. She said he was a very nice, older gentleman. Thank you for looking after my cousin, Mr. Godot.
And here I was thinking you were nothing more than a coffee addict. Cut it out. You're making me blush. This guy is really beginning to get on my nerves. More ways than one. The truth is, there aren't very many places to look on the inner temple side. The policemen were all busy going over the garden with fine-tooth combs. So I decided to carry out an investigation in my own way. Godot style. I'm the same way. I like to hand down my verdicts in my own way. Judge style. Maybe I should ask some questions. Phoenix style.
Phoenix style. Ayy. Godot's investigation.
You said that you conducted an investigation of your own. Did you find anything? It looks like my investigation went about as well as yours, Trey. After all, I did miss the bloody writing on the lantern. Well, I didn't miss it, so speak for yourself, Goggles. The only odd thing I discovered was the beauty in the training hall. Beauty? Misty Faye, naturally. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes. Western tastes? Can you find a stranger way to describe gravy? So from there, you headed for the prep room. Wait a sec. What did Godot say just now? I think I found his proverbial weak spot. There's only one thing of any importance here. Where was Godot when the murder was taking place? He must have already been at the inner temple when it happened. Otherwise, he couldn't have killed Elise Donim. Oh boy.
Well, I think there's something that... Yeah, Maya? I don't think so. I think would Godot be able to see what this hanging scroll was if he had just arrived for the first time?
Mr. Godot, the first time you crossed Dusky Bridge and went to the Inner Temple was long before the murder took place.
Why do you say that?
Because he just made one fatal slip-up. The hanging scroll in the training hall. Hanging scroll?
But... Mr. Godot is right! That scroll shows a picture of my mother!
Maya, I know you know who it is, but here's something you didn't know. By the time the bridge had been repaired, 2 days after the murder, the hanging scroll in the training hall looked like this. What's that wonderfully delicious smell? The morning after the crime, someone covered it with gravy.
Gravy? But why gravy, Nick?
Because gravy was much more than a condiment to the culprit. Well, Mr. Godot, if you really hadn't seen the hanging scroll until after the murder, you wouldn't have had any way of knowing that it was Misty Faye.
Wait a minute, Nick!
Yes?
Take another look at the hanging scroll! Look at the top! There's a crest there!
Ah, that. It's the mark of the master, correct?
Exactly! So if you know the meaning of the mark...
And you could guess that it was a picture of Misty Faye on there. True, but Mr. Godot described what was underneath like this. Clad in her stunning Japanese garb, surrounded by the hue and aroma of Western tastes.
Oh.
Yes, it's possible that he knew what the crest meant. However, he couldn't have known that she was wearing Japanese clothing. Mr. Godot, on the day of the murder, you were hiding at the Inner Temple, long before the crime took place. Can I ask just one little thing, Tripe? What is it? This whole theory of yours, it all rests on a certain assumption. That I knew beforehand that a crime was going to be committed.
That's right! Otherwise there's no reason for him to sneak onto the crime scene.
Of course Mr. Godot knew about the plan.
Huh?
Oh, what did you say? Is it really possible that another person knew of the plan?
Orders from Morgan Fay, opened once before. But by who?
This crime was actually planned over a year ago. Morgan Fay authored the plan for her daughter's future, and these instructions were hidden somewhere in the Fay Manor for a year. However, by the time Little Pearls found these instructions, they had already been unsealed. Unsealed? Yes, the killer had read these instructions long before Pearls Eve ever found them. That's how he knew a crime was going to take place at the Inner Temple. And you still insist this crafty killer is me? You bet I do. But you just said that the instructions were hidden.
That's right! Mr. Godot couldn't have known where the instructions were hidden!
If he really wanted to know, he had one great chance to find out. Yes? And when was that? During a visit.
Visit?
Morgan Fay told her daughter Pearl about where the instructions were hidden. During one of her visits to the detention center. That would be the only time for someone to have learned where they were hidden. Eavesdropping on a visit at the detention center! Yes, it could be arranged if you were someone with easy access in and out of there. Like, for example, a prosecutor such as Mr. Godot.
I love how the music here is epic. I happen to be listening to random music while getting ready, and at this very moment, Guile's theme from Street Fighter came up. Oh, I see. Perfect timing then.
Order! 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 Mr. Godot, you're under fire again! This murder could not have been carried out without prior knowledge. And you were the only one that could have acquired this information before the murder. Humans are afraid of the dark. And yet, at the same time, we're fascinated and bewitched by it. Maybe that's why humans drink the darkness that is coffee. Sorry for always asking, but what does that mean? It means there's a reason for everything. According to your theory, the killer in this case eavesdropped on a conversation during a jail visit where he learned of a hidden place for the crime. After discovering the plans, he hid it in the inner temple and waited for the crime to occur. Then he ultimately took a person's life. And he did all of that just to protect this witness? That's right. If you're accusing me of this crime, I have to ask you, why would I do it? This girl is nothing but a stranger to me. I got no reason to go through that kind of trouble to protect her.
Sure about that?
I am what you see. I'm certainly not the type to rescue the damsel in distress. The killer's behavior is certainly extreme, for lack of a better word. Even considering that the killer wanted to protect this witness's life, his behavior is still a little too unnatural. However, you had a good reason, didn't you, Mr. Godot? An unshakable reason that forced you to protect this witness at all costs.
I knew it. Figured it out. Haven't you, Nick?
Maya. I guess you were doing your best to cover for Godot. For the same reason. Okay, Trite. I'm all ears. Let's hear it. It's very simple. Maya Fey is a lot more than just a stranger to you. What's this? There's one person who lies at the very center of this whole story. One person that ties you and Maya Fey together inextricably.
Mia. It all comes back to Mia Fey.
There's a very good reason why Maya's life is so precious to you. After all, she is Mia Fey's only sister. You once worked alongside her. That was when you were a defense attorney. Well, wait a second here. Mr. Godot is a defense attorney? With your Honor's piercing intellect, you must have figured it out by now. The real name of this man who calls himself Godot. His real name is Diego Armando. Isn't that right? The last time someone called me that name was over 6 years ago. Diego Armando. That name rings a bell. It should, Your Honor. All of this is related to a single case. A case in which a convict named Terry Falls killed himself. Mia Fey's first time in court. The tragic outcome left a deep wound in her heart. She knew that behind it all was a heartless, scheming demoness in disguise. But in the end, Mia couldn't tear off that disguise. However, there was one man who reached out to help her. Diego Armando, a senior defense attorney at the office where Mia worked.
It's my fault! It's my fault that Mr. Falls killed himself!
Mia, you can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. I was moved by her. The way she put all her faith into her clients. That pure, sweet heart of hers. That's why I could never forgive Dahlia Hawthorne. Mia and I thoroughly invested that fake kidnapping incident. And one fateful day, Dahlia wanted to meet with me. It had been 6 months since a trial. We met in the courthouse cafeteria. Ah! I just remembered. 6 years ago, right in this courthouse, you were poisoned. Even I didn't see it coming. Dahlia Hawthorne slipped some poison into my coffee. Some newspapers at the time called it a murder, but very little information about the case was released to the press. But you weren't dead at all. No official reports ever actually called it a murder. I was just in a deep, deep coma. See, my body shut down, and my life became nothing but a long, deep sleep. That woman's poison really did a number on my central nervous system. I lost my sight, and all my hair turned white due to the damage it caused.
Trouble.
Apparently, it was a miracle that I ever regained consciousness. 5 years had passed since I drank that poison brew. And one morning, my eyes flew open from the smell of a doctor's cup of coffee. 5 years? You were asleep for 5 years? And the worst possible news was waiting for me. Mia Fey was dead. From the very moment I opened my eyes, I had already lost everything. The woman I loved had been murdered. The woman I loathed had been sentenced to death. Woman you loathed? The woman who had spiked my scalding hot coffee. Dahlia Hawthorne. Huh. Good old Mia. She didn't let me down. She got her revenge before she checked out. And there wasn't anyone waiting for me when I woke up.
It's so sad.
Someone like me. Someone who had slept away their best days. There were only 2 reasons left to live. It was for those 2 reasons that I decided to become a prosecutor. If I may ask, what were your 2 reasons to live? The first was you, Trite. Huh? But me? If I hadn't drank that stupid poison, Mia Fey never would have died, much less the way she did. You were the only one who was there to protect her, but you let her die. It's all your fault. It wasn't like that. I wanted to see for myself what kind of man you really were. Well, that's why you became a prosecutor. My other reason for living. She goes by the name of Mia Fey.
Huh? You mean me?
You were the only way I could make up for the sin of not saving Mia. 1 year ago, when the Grind Village incident was resolved, it was obvious that Morgan Fey was planning something. Whatever her evil plan was, I was determined to stop it. My role as a prosecutor put me in the perfect position to do something about her. That's how you overheard Pearl's visit with Morgan at the detention center. I knew that the time was drawing near. Since I knew the plan, I thought I could foil it. My goal was to outwit the plan. I thought if I could do that, I could keep that girl from being caught up in it. That makes sense. Pearls had known that the actual purpose of the plan was to kill Maya. She never would have helped out. Finally, the day of the plan was drawing near. I contacted both of my accomplices. Accomplices? Iris of Hazakura Temple and Misty Fey. I especially needed the help of Iris. She was to take the fall in my backup plan in case we couldn't contact Pearl Fey.
What? How did you contact my mother? She had been missing for almost 20 years.
Officially, yes.
What? What do you mean, officially?
You've heard about it, haven't you? About the strong ties between the main family and the government. Now that you mention it, Bikini did say something to that effect. She said that the Master of Karine had great authority. Even without her official position, Misty Fey still wielded great influence. Police have been keeping an eye on her movements all this time. That's how I was able to contact her. Again, because of my position as a prosecutor.
So my mother was cooperating with you?
Don't ever forget, No matter how far away from you she was, she never stopped thinking about it.
She was always...
That's why. I knew she would do anything to protect you. You want to know how strong her resolve to protect you was? Look at her staff. Her staff? The one with the sword in it? The day the plan was to be carried out arrived soon enough. Met for the first time at Hazakura Temple. That's when your mother showed me her special staff. I realized it then, just how far she was willing to go. She was ready to use that sword to protect you from Morgan Fay if necessary. Yes, even if it meant paying the ultimate price.
Mother...
That night of the crime, there was just one way to stop Morgan's evil plan. You mean pearls, don't you? We had to make sure she didn't channel Dahlia Hawthorne.
Well, Pearl, what are you going to do tonight?
Well,
If you'd like, you can come to my room. Perhaps we can read some books together.
Thought we could prevent her from playing her part in Morgan's plan, but never showed up.
was worried and followed me to the inner temple.
That was the thing we were most afraid of, and that's why Misty Fay had to do the channeling herself. Channeled Dahlia Hawthorne into her own body. What? What do you mean? If she channeled the spirit first, then Pearls wouldn't be able to do it herself. As Master of Karine, Misty Fay's power was supreme, so that's how it went down. She channeled Dahlia Hawthorne so that Pearl Fay wouldn't be able to. What? Is this true? My role in the plan was to make sure no one was going to hurt Maya Fay. That's why I hid myself at the inner temple, just in case you needed to be safe from Dahlia Hawthorne. Oh. Anyway, that's all I'm going to admit to. That's right. Huh? There's no doubt about it. You're a great defense attorney. But you're going to have to do the rest yourself. The background leading up to this incident has been laid bare. There's just one question remaining, Mr. Wright. Who killed the victim? There are only two possible suspects right now. Maya Fay. And I'm sad to say, you, Mr. Godot. Well, Trite, you're the real deal. And finish this thing once and for all. Show us beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can finish this on your own.
No, Nick! Please don't! I heard the whole thing from my sister in the medical office. That's why I have to protect Mr. Godot. I can't do it. I can't testify against him. After all, he's the man who put his life on the line to protect Mia. And me too!
Maya, I know that.
Nick.
But even so, it doesn't absolve him of his crime. Please, Maya, testify. Miss Fay, your testimony, please. This is the final testimony. Don't bother trying to hide anything, because I'll know. I want to hear the truth from your own lips.
I understand. Sure, you're right. I'm ready now, Nick.
All right, young lady. Tell us about the moment before you lost consciousness. What exactly happened at the time of the murder?
Just before it happened, I think I saw some red lights. 3 of them. I thought I'd ask for help, but just then I was splattered with blood. She wasn't dead though, and she struck back at the enemy behind her. Suddenly, the red lights went out, and the whole area was dark. Just at that moment, there was a horrible scream. Right after that, Dahlia collapsed, and I lost consciousness.
Red lights? I thought you said you don't remember seeing them.
sorry. Thought I saw them. Then they disappeared all of a sudden.
Ah, things break, right? Even the best of theories. Who was it that stabbed Misty Faye? It looks like you still can't prove it. Maya's telling the truth this time. I know it. Rest is up to me. Well then, Mr. Wright, proceed with your final cross-examination of this witness.
It's time. It's time to lay the truth out on that table. All the whole truth. There was a horrible scream, huh? Welcome back, Dark!
Who do you mean by just at that... What do you mean by just at that moment? Do you mean the moment when the red lights went out?
Yes, that's right.
The scream that you heard then, was it Dahlia Hawthorne?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure. It was a man's voice.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What? Roseanne, that scream came from the killer. That's gotta be it.
Think Dahlia Hawthorne must have taken the blade and attacked the killer with it.
And then the killer let out a scream of pain, huh?
After that, the killer stole the blade back and delivered the final blow, I guess.
Is that how it went?
Well, Mr. Wright, it seems to make sense to me. It sounds like a reasonable deduction, but I still kind of wonder.
There's a contradiction here.
I'm sorry to say this, but that interpretation would create an enormous contradiction. That makes sense. After all, my deductions are almost certainly never correct. Remember the testimony she just gave. Before the killer let out a scream, Maya said that she had already been splattered by the victim's blood. In other words, the blade and the staff had already been plunged into the victim.
Ah! Is that right?
She couldn't have struck back with the sword that was already stuck in her body. The weapon that caused the killer to let out a scream must have been something other than the staff. If you're so sure about that, then don't keep us waiting any longer, Trite. There's only one thing I can think of that could have been used as the weapon here. Dahlia Hawthorne had already been stabbed in the back by the staff. What could she have used to strike back at the killer?
How about the dagger that Dahlia had in her hand, huh? And the blood is not the victim's.
Naturally, the dagger the killer brought to the scene of the crime. Oh, that's right! I forgot about that. This dagger was found at the crime scene, stuck into a pine tree. Yes, the detective found that this morning and brought it to me. Dahlia Hawthorne struck back at the killer with this, and she managed to wound him as well.
Objection!
Just because he let out a scream doesn't mean that he was wounded. For all we know, the blood on the dagger could have been from the victim. Have you forgotten that the blood has already been tested? Since we learned it wasn't the victim's blood, it must be the killer's blood. The killer must have a wound somewhere on his body. So you're saying the blood on this dagger belongs to the killer? Indeed. The DNA analysis of the blood would prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. And yes, Mr. Godot, it would prove that it's your blood. Nice theory, Trent. Order! Order in the court! Is this the end? Have I done it? Even he won't be able to change the results of a scientific test. Let me ask you something, Trent. Let's just say that it turned out that I was a killer. You really think I would be stupid enough to leave evidence like that? What? Just think for a second. This dagger was found this morning by a detective and brought to me. There was already blood on it, correct? But even so, I was the one who brought this dagger here to the courtroom. Yes! What does that prove? Well, if I really were the killer, I could have washed the blade off and implanted another person's blood on it. But that's... It can't be! In any case, there's something I can guarantee, Trent. That blood, it doesn't belong to me. Not a chance. What? In any event, it seems to be established that the killer was wounded. All right then, witness. Continue your testimony.
Wait a minute!
What's the problem?
I know I probably shouldn't say this, but there's a big contradiction in Nick's explanation.
What? Maya?
This dagger. You said that it wounded the killer.
That's right.
But if Mr. Godot had really been cut with the dagger, his clothes should be bloody or have a rip in them, right?
Maya? Maybe he just changed his clothes? That solved the contradiction pretty easily.
What are you talking about? It's not that simple at all. Remember back to the day of the murder? Everyone that was on the Inner Temple side got trapped there.
Ah, that's right. And once the bridge was fixed and the police headed for the Inner Temple.
Mr. Godot was already there waiting for them. He never had a chance to change his clothes. Ah!
Order! Order in the court! What the witness says is true. Well, maybe he brought a change of clothes with him. But no one could have predicted the lightning strike that shut down the bridge. Why would anyone have brought a change of clothes? The judge just takes smart pills during the last recess? Well then, maybe the killer took off his clothes before he committed the murder. That way he wouldn't get any blood on them.
Objection!
It's impossible, Troy. You know how cold it gets up there late at night. Eh? After a few minutes with no clothes on, you'd be frozen solid. Ah! Ah, so that's all you've got. I knew you weren't tough enough to finish this. Right now, if Mia Fey were here, Mia Fey were here, she would have closed the book on this case already. Mia Fey were here. So come on, Tride, can you do it or not? How about it, Mr. Wright? You've accused Mr. Godot of being the killer. But can you prove it? Have you got even one piece of evidence? The question isn't whether I can prove it or not. The fact is, I have to prove it. That's the only choice I have. I was taught that it's one of the rules of being a lawyer. I can prove it. I'm going to bring your magnificent vengeance to fruition, just as you want it. Ah, that's good. A fighter till the bitter end, right?
Oh, look at this! Pursuit cornered! Good old throwback here. Good old throwback here to game 1. So good. Since there's just one piece of evidence that can prove your point, why don't we go for the unlimited penalty? Are you trying to pressure me, Mr. Godot? Because it doesn't matter to me. I've got the one piece of evidence I need. Give me a break. You got nothing, Trite. So what do I do at a time like this? It's simple. I've got to think outside the box and approach this from a different angle. All right then, Mr. Wright. Let's hear what you've got. There's one thing I've demonstrated in the previous cross-examination. The killer was wounded. That was proven by the blood on the dagger. But what? We've decided it was impossible for him to hit.
1, 2, 3.
We decided it was impossible for him to have hidden such a wound. If he had been cut by a dagger, there should have been a blood stain on his clothing. There's one place the killer could have hidden his wound. Oh, what did you say?
Hidden?
This is it. My last stand. I need to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to think about why there were no bloodstains on his clothing. I need to show how he hid the wound. It's the end of the line, the final stop, Trent. Let's hear what you got. Where is the location you say the killer hid his wound?
All right. How about look behind those big old goggles you have, Godot. Take that!
Ah, I don't know what you're talking about. And frankly, I don't need to know. What I do know is that you'll never be half the lawyer she was. Isn't that right, Trey? What was that just now? Yeah. It can't be. You're living on through him? Even as we speak, you're still hiding the wound. It's beneath your mask. During the fight, the red lights given off by the killer suddenly disappeared. Seconds later, the killer let out a scream. That's right, your mask went flying off your face. Mr. Godot, would you mind removing your mask? If you have a dagger wound under there somewhere, then I'd say this whole case is solved. Ah! Just now, I saw her spirit in you.
Finish it, Arya.
I never liked you. 6 years ago. You helped the woman who put me to sleep by hiding her bottle of poison. And then, while I was sleeping, you let Mia die. But you didn't care. You just kept living your pathetic, happy-go-lucky life. You even had the nerve to follow in her footsteps as a lawyer. Could never forgive you. That's what I...
Mr. Godot.
But I was wrong about you. I knew it from the very beginning. The truth is, the only person I could never find it in my heart to forgive was me. You yourself! I was the one that failed to protect Mia. Me and no one else. I tried to avert my eyes from the truth, to escape the harshness of reality. I just couldn't face Mia's death head on, so I ran. I hid behind a mask, I threw away my true name. I couldn't even deal with being a defense attorney anymore, so I quit. But, you saved Maya! Yeah, that was my plan. Up until just now, anyway.
What do you mean?
Are you listening, Maya? If I had really wanted to save you, and there's one person that I should have gone and talked to right away.
Who would that be? You talking about Nick?
But I didn't do it. I tried to get the help of Iris and your mother. But I closed my eyes to the most important man involved. You know why? The real reason?
Why?
I suppose I wasn't really interested in saving you at all.
Huh?
I think I was just trying to salvage what was left of my own broken soul. I was trying to make up for the fact that I couldn't save Mia. Nothing more. That's why I let you walk right into a situation I knew that was dangerous. Forgive me. You're wrong. You put your life on the line to save Maya. Was it really for Maya's sake? Even I'm not really. What do you mean by that? That night in the darkness of the garden, I saw her silhouette. Part of me must have known the truth. The truth that it wasn't really Dahlia Hawthorne standing there in front of me. It could have been Misty, Faye, or even that little girl. But I still picked up the blade. It's like I was dreaming. I'm not sure exactly what was going on in my mind at that point. I wasn't really motivated by the pure desire to protect Maya, Faye. Was it something else? And my hatred for a woman who had stolen everything from me 6 years earlier? Could it have been simply a desire for revenge? I don't even know anything. I did learn something today, however. I finally realized that I was the arrogant one. I was just chasing an illusion, a fantasy. The stupid fantasy of defeating you in the courtroom. You were the one who made me realize my folly. You never ran away from Mia's death. Instead, you picked up where she left off, as a true defender of the people. That one moment, I understood everything. Mr. Godot. I think you already know this, but if you don't, my name is Diego Armando.
Mr. Armando! I believe in you. I know you were trying to save me.
What? Thanks. What? Your wound! It's bleeding! Ah, you forget already? In my world, the color red doesn't exist. These must be my tears. Tears? Ever since I woke up from my coma, I think I've been waiting for this very moment.
Mr.
You do well to remember this, Maya. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. This time, it really is all over, isn't it? Defendant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Although you weren't directly involved in the murder, tampering with the body in the crime scene is a serious offense in itself.
I understand, Your Honor. Mr. Armando explained that to me very clearly. I knew the risk, and I willingly cooperated anyway.
Very well. Before I hand down my verdict, is there anything you'd like to say?
Well, there is one thing. I'd like to say something to Mr. Wright.
Huh?
I want to apologize to you.
Apologize? Me? For what?
For the case 5 years ago. Of course.
I just remembered. Weren't you poisoned by your own lover? Not exactly, but yeah, something like that. Even now, 5 years later, hardly believe it. She was going to do it. She was planning to kill me.
It's not all that surprising. The two of you hardly knew each other.
Huh? What do you mean?
You and my sister. You only met twice.
Huh? We only met twice?
The first time you met was on that fateful day. The day she poisoned Mr. Armando in the cafeteria of this very courthouse. The next time you met her was 8 months later. You met her again on the day she stole your cold medicine. And Doug Swallow was killed.
No way! It can't be true! I mean, during our whole relationship, we were...
For those 8 months, the woman that you had thought was Dahlia Hawthorne wasn't actually my sister.
Huh? It wasn't Dahlia?
Hope one day you can forgive me. Eenie.
You mean...
That's right. I lied to you for 8 months. Surprise!
But why? Why would you do such a thing?
Ever since she gave you the bottle that day, my sister was trying to get it back as soon as she possibly could. Because of the police investigation and their surveillance, she couldn't move about freely.
So that's why you...
My sister, from the beginning, she was prepared for the worst.
Prepared for the worst?
She thought you might somehow discover the truth. That's why she was always ready to deal with you at a moment's notice.
You mean she was ready to kill me, don't you?
She already had so much to answer for. I didn't want any more sins on her soul. I begged her not to do it, and she agreed to give me a chance.
And that's why you came to me? You came to get the bottle pendant back from me in her place?
But I couldn't get you to give it back. I failed at something even as simple as that. 8 months passed and I still couldn't get it back from you. Finally, my sister couldn't wait any longer. She didn't consult me about her plans for you that day. It was the first time that had ever happened.
That was a bit strange, wasn't it? Up until that day, you two were partners in crime, and she would confer with you.
I think she must have noticed.
Huh? Noticed what?
My feelings for you. If I had found out she was planning to kill you, I would have done whatever was necessary to stop her, even if it meant her life, or mine.
Iris.
After spending those 8 months by your side, my feelings towards you, they changed.
I have something to say to you, too.
Yes?
You really are the person I always thought you were. Even after Dahlia Hawthorne was found, I still believed in you.
Thank you.
How many cups of darkness have I drank over the years? Even I don't know. I'll tell you though. Right now, this one here is the greatest cup I think I've ever had. Don't you think so? Phoenix, right?
He said his name! Oh, yes!
Yeah, I think you're right. The purpose of this trial was to rule on the murder of the victim, Elise Donin. At some point, I expect you will be tried for your role as an accomplice in this case.
I understand, Your Honor.
Well, very well. On the charge of murder, I hereby find the defendant not guilty. Court is now adjourned.
It's over. It's finally over. It's finally over.
So I guess it's all over. The way everything ended. Is justice really served? The man who risked his life to save Maya is being sent to prison by his own hand.
Of course justice was served.
But Mia!
I'm proud of you, Phoenix. Your defense was truly brilliant.
But I couldn't save Mr. Armando. The man who cared so deeply for you.
You're wrong, Phoenix. You did save Diego. You saved him in the only way possible.
I mean, with that verdict?
I think one day, you'll understand too. Phoenix, I want you to remember one thing. You were as good out there today as any defense attorney could ever hope to be. There's nothing more you can learn from me.
But Mia!
You've accomplished something I wasn't able to. I owe you a great deal. Thank you. I'm sure we'll meet again. Someday, Phoenix.
I've handled lots of cases and seen a lot of things. And along this journey, I found myself asking just one question. What does it really mean to defend someone? It's a suppose today's case produced one possible answer.
Nick.
Maya.
Guess it's just like my sis said.
Yeah? What did she say?
At night, when I channeled Mia to get her advice on what to do, this is what she wrote back in my notebook. Don't worry. Phoenix will save everyone in the end.
But what?
Come on! Cut it out with that gloomy face! Can't you see? Me, Sis, and I'm sure Iris too. We owe you for everything you've done for us, Nick.
Maya. How can you be so bright and chipper after all that's happened? You were brutally attacked. You even saw your mother murdered. Ouch! Francisca!
Still a softie as always, Phoenix Wright. Hey! Hi! Hey! Good to see you. Diego might not be truly free, but he is free from his past. Indeed. I agree with that statement.
Excellent work, Wright.
Huh? Mr. Edgeworth? When did you get back?
Oh, that's right. I guess no one filled her in on that. Edgeworth and Francisca have actually been helping me.
Helping you?
If these two hadn't been there on the first day of the trial, the defense wouldn't have gotten anywhere.
Wow. But where were you, Nick?
I heard he fell into a river and caught a nasty cold, which forced him to sleep all day.
Yes, he laid in bed shivering from his fever with Iris's hood pulled over his head.
Oh, ouch. Talk about embarrassing, Nick. You definitely need more training. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. And you too, Francisca.
I don't suppose. There's room for me in this group hug, is there?
Oh, Larry.
What's with the, longer than usual face? I realized something when I was reborn. I realized that Larry was never of any use to anyone. Not even once.
But that's not true, right, Nick?
What? You're asking me? Well, Nick, is it true? I've got a place in this world, right? Huh? Oh, yeah, of course. I knew it. Everyone would be better off if I were gone for good. No. Oh yeah! Those portraits you painted. They were really good. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? What? But me? Why are you making that face, huh, Edgy? Oh, well, yes, indeed. I certainly can't say they lack resemblance. Do you really mean it? About you, Francie? Did I draw you well, too? Ah!
My beauty can't possibly be captured by a mere crayon. Nevertheless, I recognized the effort you put into it, and it was worth something.
So then you'll do it? Like you promised? Got a model for my next picture book, Frenzy's Whippity Whip Trip. Ah!
Don't get carried away.
Well, how about that? I guess painting portraits is the only thing I'm good at. But painting a pro was a pretty darn good too, if you ask me. Huh? Now that you mention it, I haven't seen her around. Where could she have gone? Normally she would make a beeline for Maya.
Oh, I'll go look for her. Be right back. Hey, Pearly!
Right. You seem to be uncharacteristically puzzled. I suspect you are wondering how Maya can be so cheerful despite all this has happened. Yeah.
To be honest, I can't understand it either.
Francisca. That's right. She lost her father fairly recently as well. I think I understand how she feels. Maya is a much wiser person than she appears, and I think she realizes something. Now is exactly the time when she needs to be as strong as she can.
What do you mean by now is exactly the time?
Maya wasn't the only person that was badly wounded in this incident. In fact, there was someone that was hurt far more deeply than she. I believe it's for that person that Maya is trying her best not to cry. Someone who was hurt more deeply than Maya.
Alright. There's one person.
Edgeworth. I think I'm starting to understand too.
Ow! Then tell me, Phoenix Wright. Who is Maya Fey being strong for? That would be Pearl. Pearl Fey.
The poor kid. For all, the reason that she worked so hard to follow the instructions was because she loved and believed in her mother, Morgan. It's for the good of the Fey clan. I'm sure she believed in every last word. She thought she was doing it for Maya. That's why she was so happy. It shows how truly devoted she is to Maya. But it's a cruel irony that it was her exuberance that led to this tragedy. Maya's mother was killed, and Maya herself was put into the deepest peril imaginable. And that's exactly why Maya's putting on a brave face. She's doing it for Pearl's sake, until she can see her smile again.
Oh hey, so this is where y'all were. Wow, looks like we got quite the bunch here today. Ow! What's with that for, sir? Sorry about that, Scruffy. My whip just seems to have a mind of its own.
What's up, Detective Gumshoe?
Oh, you know, this and that. Anyway, congrats on your win. Let's go out tonight, pal. Dinner's on me. My salary's just sort of gone down by a teensy-tweeny bit. But it's alright. I made reservations at a first-class French restaurant tonight. Ah! Pretty good work, Scruffy. That whip was your reward.
Detective Gumshoe. You said a first-class French restaurant. You don't mean...
Très bien. Where else?
I knew it. We're doomed.
Come on, let's go, everyone. Can't keep Maggie waiting, pal. Hey, you crybaby. You're invited too. Oh, forget about me. Pearl and I will be at the loser shack eating potatoes.
You know, Maya's taking an awfully long time to get back. She's still out looking for pearls. Oh, Maya. What's wrong?
Nick, what do I do? Early. I can't find her anywhere!
Huh? I'll bet she just went back home. That's all.
Thought so too, so I called the village. But no one has heard from her. This has never happened before!
As I figured, she has been badly hurt by this incident. Feels responsible for the tragedy that has befallen you, Maya.
But none of this was her fault! What should I do?
Detective Gumshoe. Yeah, what is it, pal? Would you guys go on ahead?
But what about you?
Maya and I will... We'll join you guys once we find pearls.
Nick!
Don't worry about us, Detective Gumshoe. We may be a little late, but we'll definitely be there. We have a lot of celebrating to do tonight, and I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Yeah, but you're the... Ah! Very well, Phoenix Wright. We'll go on ahead.
Don't keep us waiting, right? We won't.
But where should we look? Where could Pearlie have gone?
Let's go, Maya. There's only one place I can think of that pearls might have gone to.
February 10th. Hazakura Temple. Main gate. Hazakura Temple.
For pearls. I bet this is a very important place. After all, it's where this whole incident started.
What's this? You're all back again so soon?
Sister Bikini?
I thought we'd be eating mashed potatoes alone tonight.
So she's here? Pearlie's here?
She's in the training hall. Why don't you hurry along and go see her?
Okay. Pearlie's not here.
Ah! Maya! The hanging scroll!
Someone cleaned it off!
It's gotta be pearls.
Mystic Maya! Pearlie! Why did you just leave like that? Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! I swore that I would never trouble the two of you ever again. Oh, Pearly. 'Cause it's all my fault that Mr. Maya's mother.
That's why you came here.
It's the least I could do to pray for your happiness. You don't have to do that, Pearly. It wasn't your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Of course I'm sad that my mother is gone. But how do I say this? I'm still happy. You don't have to lie just to make me feel better. No, really. It's true. The only reason I'm still here at all is thanks to everyone who was there for me. My sis, my mother, Mr. Armando, Nick, and you. Even if one of you weren't there, I'm sure I wouldn't be alive right now. That's why I have to be strong. For all the people that were there for me when I needed them. That's all I can really do. Mystic Maya.
I'm impressed. You truly are the daughter of Mystic Misty.
Sister Bikini!
Your mother, Mystic Misty, was a strong woman indeed. I want to tell you what she said to me that night. After dishonoring the good name of Karayan, I don't have the right to face my daughter. But still, Maya's always in my thoughts. It's true. She'll always be with me until the day I die. Your spirit was with her. That's why your mother was so strong. Even at the end, I'm sure she had no regrets. You'll always be with me until the day I die, huh? There's a rule or something all masters are to follow, isn't there? Never take the charm off until the day you die.
That's the Master's talisman!
The thing that Misty kept by her heart and would never take off. It wasn't the container that was important. Rather, it's the contents.
That's...
a photo?
It's only natural for living creatures to fight to protect their own lives. But what makes us human is that we fight for ourselves, fight for others. Who do you fight? Who do you fight for? How hard must you fight? That's the true measure human life is worth. We defense attorneys are warriors who are constantly challenged by that question. Even when the battle is over and the bonds that connect us are severed, we always return, time and time again. Mia, Maya, Pearls, Mr. Armando, and Maya's mother, too. I learned that from all of them. Well, shall we get going? Everyone's waiting. This is a day to remember. A day when a lot of things were finally put to rest. I think we should celebrate what we've overcome today.
But I still can't.
Oh, go on, sweetie. You can come back for training anytime.
Okay. Alright, I'm going to make a brand new start too. Sister Bikini, I'll be back for more training, I promise.
I know, and I won't go easy on you just because you're the future master. I'll make sure to prepare reservations for 3 when you come back.
Alright. We're going to have a great feast today, Pearly. You know why? Because training is a battle of endurance. Okay, Mystic Maya. I'll eat lots and lots of food tonight.
You know, there's one thing I don't get. I probably don't want to, but
What is it, Nick?
reservations for training is fine and all. But why for 3?
Come on, what do you think? You're one of us, Nick. Next time you can train right alongside us.
Huh?
I'll be waiting for you. Sister Bikini will take special care of you. Huh?
He'll be great, Nick. We're going to do the special course naturally.
Huh?
That's a great idea. After all, Mr. Nick, you'd do anything for Mystic Maya, wouldn't you? Even walk on hot coals, right? We'll have a nice big meal before we come next time. Right, Nick?
You know, I was wondering if I can say just one little thing.
Sure, of course you can. Oh, I love this part. I can't wait to hear it.
I'm getting goosebumps too.
Well then, here goes nothing.
And there it is.
And that's it. I'll really have to work extra hard now. Master of Karine and the office manager of Right and Co offices. And I have to be a good big sister to Pearly and Nick too. Well, as long as I'm not locked up or captured or something like that.
We did go overtime this time, but that's okay. It was worth it.
So it's true! Mr. Nick really is Mystic Maya's knight in shining armor. He went through with the special course all the way to the end. Actually, I hear there's a legendary extra special ultra course here too. I think we'll surprise the two of them by making them a secret reservation.
Oh gosh, Pearly, you're gonna kill him! You're gonna kill him! You'll kill poor Nick!
Maggie brought me a brand new coat as a present, pal. I feel 10 years younger. I'll never take this off.
Yes, but somehow you just don't seem the same. I guess a dirty, shabby old overcoat is just more detective-like, sir.
Don't worry about it. In the name of love, a man will soil himself silly.
Oh gosh.
Hey! Mr. Wright, I am once again in your debt. Thanks to you, the Treasures of Karine exhibit was a great success. I even got to see Miss Von Karma, who I hadn't seen for almost a year. She taught me how to use a whip and said I must show you what I've learned. Maybe not, Adrian. Maybe not, Adrian. Hey!
Desi and I started a company called Mass to Mass Consulting.
We're dedicated to stopping the evil plans of all the crimes in the city.
Our motto is cut it out, please!
Pretty cute, huh?
Well, we also sell plants to the criminals as kind of a side business. I wonder if that's okay. Sometimes I think maybe we're the worst criminals.
Oh gosh, Ron! Oh goodness.
I wanted to show my appreciation to Mr. Wright for exterminating Don Tigre, so I lent him $500,000. A very special thick tea, one I mixed with my own two hands. I bet he's drinking it now. Win through compromise.
Gosh, Viola.
I'm just old and in the way. A wrinkling, grumpy, clown-nosed waste of flesh. At least that's what I thought. But my grandkids had a birthday party for me the other day. Talk about embarrassing. 69 years old and I cried like a baby with a dirty diaper.
Oh goodness. Well, oh goodness gracious. As usual, we have an abundance of work to do. We've hired a new programmer to replace Glenn Elk. I do hope everyone will get along. His name is Adam Mata. As soon as I heard his name, I knew our brain circuits would align perfectly. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
My. More reporters. Since the murder, we've made so much money, I hardly know what to do. I think the magazines like us because it provides such a nice visual, especially in spring. I can hardly wait for Iris to come back.
A palindrome. Indeed. Another palindrome. Ah. Good to see everybody though, huh?
You've turned into such a respectable man, Feeny. It was so sweet of you and everyone else to come here and visit me the other day. Of course, I was happy that you constantly had your eyes on me, but I felt kind of bad when the little one slapped you so hard you got a nosebleed.
Oh, Iris! Ouch! Oof. Alright, and the voice cast. The official VAs. Hey yo, VAs!
Objection!
Ah! Really? Metal pipe? Sweet! And Francisca. Oh yeah, and I forgot that Pain was here too. I forgot. Oh, what's this? I'm back from a long and tiring vacation as no one is here to grade me? I guess while I was gone, my little whippersnapper buddy quit and now I've got no one. And what kind of lonely, crazy security room is this supposed to be anyway? With all that flashing lights and switches, I feel like some sort of space alien. And now what am I going to do with all these macadamia nuts I brought back for everyone? If I bring them over to Edgipoo, I know exactly. I can't really accept these, I'm afraid, or something. No. Goodbye. Go away. Go away. Why'd they have to bring her back for the credits? Why? 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 I finally found something I love to do. Francie's Whippity Whip Trip is gonna turn the art world on its head. Should have realized it sooner. Self-centered, lazy, antisocial. I'm an artist. A really good portrait artist. I'm not a loser after all. Okay, Larry. Alright, Larry. If you say so. Oh, buddy. There it is. Perfect picture indeed. Not bad, Larry. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad, Larry. Not bad at all. And that's it. Yahoo! It's all done.
Amazing.
The game
Mission
is
complete.
finally finished. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy is finally done. Not too bad, huh? Not bad at all. The first trilogy is done. Alrighty. Apollo Justice next? No. No. My plan was originally to play the Miles Edgeworth investigation games after this, but then the collection got announced for September, so I'm not going to play those until September when that comes out, or at least after that point. So I think what our next step will be is we are gonna go back in time. We are gonna go way back in time. We're gonna go to the prequel games starting next week. Starting next week, we're gonna go to the prequel games, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Now, the thing is, with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, both 1 and 2, I have, like, zippity zip knowledge. Zero knowledge of what happens. Like, at all. So this is completely blind. This is completely blind playthrough. Completely blind first playthrough. Just because the investigation games had to get a remaster soon. Because if I played, especially if I had played Investigations 2 before the collection came out, a lot of things would have been really confusing. So I'm in the dark with you guys on the prequel games. It's gonna be so fun though, I can tell. Although I have been made aware that the final case of Ace Attorney the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles 2 is almost as long as Rise from the Ashes. So I'm a little worried there on how that's gonna turn out. But we shall see. We shall see how that will go. But either way, I hope y'all had a great time. I hope y'all enjoyed watching today's case and finishing it with us. The last case is longer than this one. Oh boy. Hold on. Case lengths. Let me see. There's gotta be... Yes. Rise from the Ashes, if I remember correctly, Rise from the Ashes is about 9 hours long. 9 hours. That's quite a bit of time. There are only 2 other cases, 2, that are longer. The first one being the final case, well, the 5th case of Spirit of Justice, which doesn't come until way later. And the last case of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles 2. You want to know how long those cases are? You want to know how long those cases are? Oh, I love these games. I love the original trilogy so much. 12 hours? I mean, you're pretty close. It's estimated that the last case is about 15 hours. 15 hours. Oh boy. Oh boy. That one gonna take a while. Oh boy. Either way though, we are going to finish up here today, and then next week we will start Ace Attorney, the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles next week. I hope y'all will be excited. Oh. I'm excited, and I can't wait to start them next week. Alrighty. Thank you. Basically 6 Tuesdays for that one case. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Alrighty though. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Let's go ahead and find somebody to raid today before we head off. Let's see who is live today that we can go raid before we head off today. Ooh. You know what? Let's continue to support our friend Lyra's adventure today. Lyra's continuing through her subathon today with Velvet Coach, and they're playing A Hat in Time right now. If you're headed over to the raid, which you please should, please type Shadeslay Raid in the chat so that Lyra knows that we are there to support her and support her subathon. Also, if you're headed over, be sure to follow all
A
of her
message from Mega Rock. Much like the rest of the family, a mother protects and looks out for her children. Thanks you, Misty Faye.
Indeed. Thank you, Misty Faye. If you're headed over, be sure to follow all of her roles as you would mind, and once again, as always, have fun. Alrighty. Tomorrow, there is no stream on my end. However, I will be collabing with Lyra tomorrow on her channel in support of the subathon. I'm not going to tell you what we're doing just yet, but I'm sure that we're going to have a grand old time. So be sure to come on over for that on Lyra's channel at Lyra's Adventure. Alrighty. The next time you'll see me on my channel is Thursday when we do Professor Layton in the Azran Legacy. Thank you so much for coming, everybody, and I will see you all tomorrow on Lyra's channel. Bye! Hey, Sharp Shade Slayers!